Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association. Missouri produces wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details on the variety of products made in the state are at choosewood.com.
It's Friday, February 4th. This is The Gateway. I'm Wayne Pratt. St. Louis comedian Guy Torry and other black comedians reminisce about their big nights in Los Angeles in the new docuseries Phat Tuesdays.
I just wanted to make people laugh and showcase black people in a safe place.
St. Louis Public Radio's Andrea Henderson speaks to Guy Torry about the project in just a few minutes. The region is digging out after a snowstorm hammered the area for the past couple of days. The National Weather Service says St. Louis ended up with 6.7 inches of snow. Higher amounts have been recorded in northwest Missouri, parts of St. Charles County, and sections of Illinois. Residents of Pontoon Beach, for example, are dealing with 11.5 inches of snow. Several businesses are closed again today. Some are operating on a delayed schedule. Now, several schools are shut down for a third consecutive day because of the weather. But as St. Louis Public Radio's Kate Grumke reports, some are still finding ways to teach students.
Christina Irby-Carr's first grade class is playing a math game in a virtual classroom.
So what's our equation going to be?
7 plus 3 equals 10.
And learning a song. I like to make 10 again. Her district, Rittner, is one of several in the area that are learning online rather than taking traditional snow days. It went better this year than last year, according to parent Rhonda Feldposh, whose daughter Piper is in Irby-Carr's class.
I think last year was more clumsy because it was, start of the school year on virtual. So this year they knew the people that they were going to be on the screen with, plus they knew what to expect.
More than 10 districts went virtual because of this week's winter storm. I'm Kate Grumke, St. Louis Public Radio.
An Illinois policy analyst is happy Governor J.B. Pritzker wants to put an extra $500 million toward Illinois' $130 billion unfunded pension liability. Lawrence Massal of the Civic Federation says it would help the state make some progress with its massive pension obligations.
It is by and large a very positive development that the governor is the first governor since at least 20 years to make more than the statutory required contribution without borrowing.
However, Massal says he'd like to see more structural changes to how the state handles public employee pensions. Illinois currently has 600 separate pension funds, and Massal wants to see them consolidated to improve oversight and save on administrative costs. A study commissioned by the University of Missouri suggests the system generates roughly $6.5 billion of annual economic activity. That's up from nearly $5.5 billion in the last study, which was in 2018. The Post-Dispatch reports the most recent research was presented yesterday to the Board of Curators. The main campus in Columbia has the largest economic impact, followed by the University of Missouri-Kansas City, Missouri University of Science and Technology in Rolla, and the University of Missouri-St. Louis. Kansas City-based consulting firm Tripp Umbach put together that report. Comedian Guy Torry moved from St. Louis to Los Angeles in the early 90s. He created a night for black comedians at the famous Hollywood venue, The Comedy Store. Phat Tuesdays ran for a decade starting in 1995, and those nights are the subject of a Prime Video docuseries, Phat Tuesdays, The Era of Hip-Hop Comedy. St. Louis Public Radio's Andrea Henderson asked Torry why that moment is so pivotal to the black comedy community. And as a warning, this story contains language that some might find offensive.
Before the Rodney King riots and stuff, the hood is where Hollywood came to see black comedians. Even if you weren't from the hood, the only place you could really get a show, like a Def Jam type show, was in the hood. White clubs weren't doing that at all. That's why it was important for Phat Tuesdays to be at the Comedy Store on Sunset. Had it not been for the Rodney King verdict and people seeing South Central and other neighborhoods and urban communities burned to the ground, and they were fearful. That's why white people were scared to come to the hood to see black comedians, because the tensions, this is still only 95. When it happened in 92, the tension was still there, So that's why the Rodney King beating had such an impact on black comedy.
Did you ever do any performances here in St. Louis before you left to go to LA?
You know, at Southeast, at SEMO, they had this little talent show. The AKAs had a talent show. And I just wanted to be part of it somehow. I didn't know what being a comedian was, but I said, let me come out and just, around for a minute. And I came out and around and, got that laughter. And it was like, whoa, it's addicting. And then when I got back to St. Louis, I really didn't do anything else. And right before I was getting ready to move to LA, there was some variety show going on at some place. And I said, let me go up and just try. I think that was the first time I tried to write material and go on stage. And then after that, the rest is history.
Then 1995, you're doing Phat Tuesdays at the Comedy Store. How did this come to fruition?
Well, the night itself, Phat Tuesday, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I was just young and hungry back then. I never ran a room before, a comedy night before. I didn't finish college. I just wanted to make people laugh and showcase black people in a safe place.
Backstage here at Guy Torry Comedy Show.
It was a movement in Hollywood.
This ain't show business. It opened the door to Hollywood for black comedy.
You would come here and the agents would see you. Maybe you get signed, maybe you get a movie, maybe you get a TV show.
What is it that you want the audience to experience from watching the docuseries?
Just how resilient black people are. I always say this, when the smoke cleared and the dust settled in South Central Los Angeles after the Rodney King riots, what came out of it was a lot of art, a lot of pain, a lot of comedians who want to tell their story, their riot stories, their Rodney King story, their police stories. So no matter what you do to black people, it still re-rise.
Yeah, I think that's how comedy is for black people in general. We just use our everyday life and turn our hardships
into art.
Mm-hmm.
We laugh to keep from crying. It's 1995. There's so many funny people doing comedy in the hood, but there was no one there to see them. And I was like, okay, change that.
For the first time, I was able to do black humor.
Phat Tuesday was something very special to witness.
Where do you think black comedy is going now?
That's a good question, because most of the comedians who are winning on social media are black. And some of them just don't put in the rep or don't have the respect for the game. And prayerfully, this documentary will reach them and they see, what black comedy is and where it came from. And, slaves told jokes to masters to keep them getting their ass whipped. And if they were funny enough, the slave master would take them to another plantation to perform for another slave master. So Negro's been on tour a long time. So I want these young comedians to understand where this art came from and where it is now, where it used to be, when you were just telling jokes to keep them getting whipped. Now you telling jokes to buy a nice whip.
That was comedian and actor Guy Torry speaking with St. Louis Public Radio's Andrea Henderson about a docuseries on black comedians which premieres today on Prime Video. Sheila Newman is the executive editor of St. Louis Public Radio, a listener-supported service of the University of Missouri-St. Louis. Music by Ryan McNeely of Adult Fur. I'm Wayne Pratt. This has been The Gateway.
Support comes from Mosby Building Arts, a design-build company committed to remodeling the right way. Visit callmosby.com to get project inspiration for any room of your house.